Love it or leave it.
And we're back. Please welcome to the stage, friend of the show, and I hope me personally, after I absolutely crushed this segment, it's the incredible Tressie McMillan Cottom. Hi, it's good to see you. Thank you for being here.
It's a lot of y'all. Hey, it's a lot of people.
It is a lot of people.
Yeah.
You were at our Asheville show last time,
Yes,
I
I
believe.
was.
And we're going to head to Asheville tomorrow,
Yeah.
but it's so nice for you to be here. Thanks. Good
Yeah.
to see you. I'm a huge fan. I really am.
Pleasure. Thank you. I don't know if it's true, but I don't care. Thank you.
It is true.
Okay, thanks.
It is true. It is true. You're very good at TikTok.
I am. I mean, I am. Okay.
What a shift.
I don't try to be. I really am a text-based person. Twitter was my thing. I don't approve of video. I don't really.
Yeah.
I don't really like it. I'm
No.
not a fan. But it's where the people are, and I really got on to see if I could figure out how it worked. And then people found me, and it was all downhill from there.
You know what's interesting about it is that I do think there are a lot of people for whom TikTok is not necessarily their native language. Basically everyone over 30. And
What you trying to say, John?
I'm saying we're both over 30.
Oh, okay.
And well, what's interesting is there are a lot of people who are trying, and it comes across as trying, but you're one of those rare people that has a kind of, there's something about TikTok where when people come on there and they try to put on a show, they get caught. But you don't seem to be doing that, and I think it has to do with knowing yourself. Do you feel like that's part of why you're appealing to people? No, but there's a kind of, I think there are people who are 20 and know themselves, and there are people who are 60
It's
who
possible,
don't.
yeah.
But do you feel that people are coming to you because there's a sense in which they can trust you because you're not putting on a show? Do you know what I'm saying?
Jeez. Okay. So I don't know if I'm prepared for self-reflection. I actually never understand exactly why people read me, follow me, watch me. I'm always grateful, but I think there must be like a million stories for why people are there. But I like to think that I know who I am, mostly because I know who I'm not. And all the stuff left over, I go, okay, yeah, is that me? Then yeah, that's me. And I remember early on in making the transition to TikTok, someone said to me, the TikTok audience and that TikTok generation is very discerning. They don't want you selling them anything, right? They can sniff out false performance, right? And they resent it. And I thought, well, good, because I don't know how to do any of that. So that's fine. And it's really hard to pretend to be something you're not. I actually think that's what's wrong with a lot of public figures. It's really hard to maintain multiple voices without starting to hear them all in your head at the same time. And so mostly I'm trying to protect my sanity by being exactly who I am as much as possible.
That's good. I'm going to keep doing this character.
I think this is you.
Yeah, it probably is.
Yeah.
I'm not disciplined enough. There are people that put
exactly.
on. I don't have the skill set.
Yeah. Exactly. No, it isn't. And that's actually a good thing. I think only two kinds of people can maintain a lie across time and make people believe it and be consistent with that lie. And it's politicians and serial killers. So I actually think it's fine to say I don't have the dedication required to create an avatar of myself and maintain it.
Yeah. So speaking of politicians, on TikTok, you're recently talking about basically how the impact of the 2000 election and Al Gore.
Yeah.
And what? Can you just talk a little bit about that?
Well, kind of like Justin Timberlake, I'm very dismayed that there are young people. And I loved it. Okay. And so, and I teach college students, who have been born very recently, and it only occurred to me, so I'm constantly finding something that they didn't know that's very tangible for me, and one of them is the 2000 election. And so we can talk about how we kind of got here. And I think yes, Trump is both a convergence and a divergence and a distraction. We can certainly talk about, I think, what happened during the Clinton years, et cetera. But I think that the 2000 election there's a really strong argument that's where, one, a lot of people lost faith in our ability to have a meaningful election, and we start to see this polarization that now defines our political discourse emerge after that. I think it is where we start to see this sort of rogue Supreme Court feel its power, and we see what's happened since then, right? And so I think that we would have made maybe more meaningful progress in our response to climate change had we done that. And since I think a lot of our economic anxiety is rooted in us resisting dealing with climate change, I just can imagine a whole world where we weren't making politics based on panic and fear. And all of that, to my mind, really kind of starts with that election.
Speaking of that kind of climate anxiety and economic anxiety and TikTok, there really is a lot of, I think, well-earned cynicism out there. And that cynicism is going to play out in who does and doesn't turn out to vote. And I'm curious what you say to a young person who's writing to you about why they feel like they don't feel any urge to participate in the election, or they don't think it matters, or they don't believe that that they should be turning out to vote for Joe Biden. Like, how do you talk to somebody who's feeling that way?
And I have a lot of this. Again, I'm surrounded by a lot of young people, and I hear this often for a range of reasons, either like a political identity, like they're anarchists, or just being disconnected from the political process. And I honestly think the very first thing we should do is acknowledge that them feeling that way is rational, right? Depending on when you were born in this country over the last 20 years, you watched your government let children die at school, your friends, people your age, and not do anything about guns, right? If you are a young person who only knows the last 15, 20 years of American political life, you have watched the concerns of the people around you who you love and rely on, their concerns not be reflected in the people they vote for. So the first thing I say to them is, I get it. Right? I think it's absolutely reasonable. I think we take the wrong tack when we try to convince them that they just don't understand. Let me just sit you down and tell you about the real world, kid. I find that young people today are very, very aware of the real world. And what they are seeing is true. There is a disconnect between our political representation and what most Americans care about, right? On issue after issue. And we go, how did we get here? And they can see it, and they go, well, why participate? So first, to acknowledge that it's real and it's rational. But then I try to say to them, after listening to them, reflecting back what I think is real, and I say, well, the thing is, this is the world you've got now, right? I get wanting a better world. I do. I always want one. But tomorrow is the world you got to worry about, because you don't get to 10 years from now if you don't handle tomorrow. And I tell them that voting is about tomorrow, right? So when you wake up tomorrow, who do you hope is in the room making the decisions about the things that you care about? Now, I don't mean who do you love in the room, right? So part of what's happened, I think, with political polarization in this country is that our political identity has become our identity. And we think that we need to like the people. Really, you just need someone who is afraid enough of voters to do voters' will, right? You don't have to love them, right? We don't need celebrities as politicians, I don't think. And so I try to say to them, there are really pragmatic concerns that don't require you to be happy. right? Like, actually, I think we got that all wrong. I don't think we're all supposed to be happy. I think we're all supposed to be roughly equally unhappy, right? And so let's try to like tip those scales back to that. Right now, a lot of people are happy who don't deserve to be. And and so let's tilt that back and let's spread that around. That's democracy.
I love that. Yeah, it is. That is such a. That is a big part of the challenge, right? This idea that like, when identity gets wrapped up in politics, like I've always felt like there's this, like it. And I've always been in that. I've been in the same place as you. That's never been how politics was for me. Like I always viewed inspiration as like it's a valuable tool for a politician to have to inspire people to vote for them. But if you say you need to be inspired, if you actually like follow that logic all the way to the end, you're like, you mean you know what you're supposed to do, but you won't do it unless somebody rouses you?
Exactly.
But you just said you know what you think needs to happen. Mm-hmm. So who cares if you're inspired?
Exactly.
Go see Suffs, you know? Yeah. Leave me alone.
Adulthood is almost unilaterally about doing things you don't want to do, right? And so this is excellent practice for that. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. But then, inspiration's nice. It's a nice to have.
Inspiration is nice, but I do think that we have fallen a little too in love with it, and I share your same concern. Like, I don't really trust your motivation for doing the right thing if someone had to inspire you to do it. Like, it may work out for us in the short term, but I don't think that's a long-term practical strategy for building the world we want to live in. You have to get up every day and do the thing. Some of my favorite activists and organizers in the world say that hope is action. Hope is what you do, it's not what you feel. You don't have to feel hopeful to do the hopeful thing, right? Just like you don't have to love somebody to be loving, right? And so you don't have to like believe in everything somebody's saying and wait for them to like have the Holy Ghost move over you, right? To do the thing. We have a responsibility to each other that shouldn't require inspiration. It is nice. I go to the rally sometimes, and when you got somebody, a figure like a Barack Obama or a Bill Clinton, I've been in those convention halls, and it's amazing. They're so good at it. But we shouldn't need that. The stakes are high enough that I don't think we need to have a prom every time we go to the ballot box.
Yeah. And I think a positive rendering, like another way to see that too, is not, oh, like you don't need it, being an adult is hard, do what you're supposed to do. The other side of it is, it's not really about them, right? Like what's inspiring is all of us coming together to put ourselves in a position to take a step towards the future that we want. And no, Joe Biden doesn't get us to that future, but Donald Trump makes that future impossible.
There you go.
Now, this is just before we get to, we're going to play a little game. But before we get to that, you're working on a piece about AI.
I am.
And I just
How do you know that?
It just says it here on this card.
Oh, okay. All right.
Now, the question is, should Hallie, our head writer, who is currently typing this question for me, Jon Lovett, to speak aloud, switch industries?
No. I mean, that's like jumping from the frying pan, I think, into the fire. So my position so far on AI is this. There are some discrete, amazing potential for what AI can do in things like healthcare and certain parts of manufacturing, et cetera. It is not, however, what is being marketed as. So the marketing of AI is very different from what AI can do. And if you talk to anybody sober in that industry, they'll tell you that. The only people who are, saying anything about how, next week all the jobs are gonna be gone and you won't have to do this because AI will do that. The biggest problems facing us as a society are not issues of productivity, which AI is great at increasing. American workers are actually very productive, believe it or not. Our problems are around things related to care and care work, raising children, taking care of the elderly, housing for the unhoused, health care. And AI is not useful in any of those arenas. So when people get really excited about its transformative potential, I go, transforming how much of our life that actually matters. And that's actually very little. So no, I think this is a better job for the short term, because it still needs human beings, but the AI, no, let's not jump.
I saw an interview where an executive from someone involved in an email service of some kind was talking about how they were very excited about this AI integration because it would allow the AI to receive your emails, read them, and then respond on your behalf unless they thought it was important. And it would then let you respond. And then the interviewer said, but then if I have that AI and you have that AI,
exactly.
My email responds automatically to your email, which responds automatically to my email. And the executive just didn't take that in. He goes like, it's going to save us so much time. Now, Tressie, you're a trusted voice, which is why we're going to play a game called Marjorie Taylor Greene with Envy.
All right.
You are going to read me absurd political quotes from the last month that I most likely have truly not heard before.
I really hope you have not heard
Some of them I
these.
really have not heard.
Okay.
I don't actually know what's in there, but I think I still have big gaps from the past month. And you're
very envious of you.
I'm going to rank them on a scale of 1 to 4 based on how much they make me say, God, that's really fucking funny. I wish I'd written that.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Ready.
All right, take us away.
First, I'm so excited for this first one because I've been wanting to say this out loud. You already know. Okay, so first up, we have the divine Jasmine Crockett's retort. To a nasty little piece of cornbread, Marjorie Taylor Greene. So Marjorie commented insulting the Congresswoman's fake eyelashes because she likes to throw punches. And, well, my girl said this back.
If someone on this committee then starts talking about somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body, that would not be engaging in personalities, correct?
What now?
I heard about that. I had not seen it. I love it.
Try saying it.
Bleach blonde, bad bitch, butch body. Bleach blonde, butch body. It's great stuff.
It's really good
It's
stuff.
really good. It's really good.
AI could never write that.
No. Because it has meaning. It has meaning. It's not just a mirror.
That's right.
It's not just a mirror. It's something new.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna rate that. That's a 4. I mean, that's just a 4 out of 4.
That's
Come
right
on.
That's on top. Okay. While you were off, I'm not going to say this to you. I think it was all right that you were off playing Lord of the Middle-Aged Flies. It's fine. So I'm not going to say that. I'm not saying that.
Getting absolutely reamed on these cards.
Joe Biden challenged Donald Trump to 2 debates with this WWE-style fight night promo. Not kidding.
Donald Trump lost 2 debates to me in 2020. And since then, he hadn't shown up for debate. Now he's acting like he wants to debate me again. Well, make my day, pal. I'll even do it twice. So let's pick the dates, Donald. I hear you're free on Wednesdays.
Because that was when he wasn't in court.
That's right.
I love it. And sure, it's edited to within an inch of its fucking life. We'll be all right. I like that. I'm gonna give that a 2. I'm gonna say that's a 2. I think
A 2. Is
It's
it a
2.
dirty, hairy performance, or what's that?
Yeah, I mean, I like the energy. I like the little punchy joke at the end. Yeah, I like it.
Okay.
2.5, right in the middle.
2.5.
I like it.
Okay.
I do
All
like
right.
it.
All
I do
right.
like it.
So next up, we have RFK Jr. of the Kennedys, in case you don't know. In case it hasn't been said a million times, on his brain worm. Okay? Yeah, you never should have come back. So, as reported by the New York Times, the presidential hopeful said during a 2012 divorce deposition that doctors saw a spot during an MRI that they believed to be a tumor, but that in actuality, it was, quote, caused by a worm that got into my brain and ate a portion of it and then died. He then tweeted, he's not done. He then tweeted, after the Times published that report, Kennedy wrote, I offer to eat 5 more brain worms and still beat President Trump. A real thing that happened.
Yeah, man. Wow. I hope it died.
Right?
It's still in there kind of munching. I mean, it did make sense of this, like, how someone goes from being an environmental lawyer to whatever this is. You know?
Okay.
Just sort of nibbling away at the frontal cortex.
Yeah.
I want to know what part of his brain. You know what I mean? Where are we talking about?
I mean, really, is any of it worth?
No,
I don't know. Okay. I mean, can you imagine? You start off with the last name Kennedy and you end with brain worms.
You know, I mean, it's look. Here's the
trip.
thing. Here's the thing. They've been coasting on a reputation. Come on now. Come on.
No comments.
Come on. Wait. Oh, we can't
I
talk.
don't want that smoke. No.
I mean, I don't know. Once a bootlegger. I mean, they just. What is that? What is that? I'm an anti-bootlegger.
1 to 4. You like this one?
I think that's a 3. I think that Kennedy coming out and saying, actually, it was a worm in my brain is pretty funny.
Okay. And he committed to the bit.
Yeah,
I think
he's
that's
in.
the thing, right? Okay. And finally, here is Donald Trump, the gift that keeps giving, speaking at a New Jersey rally for his presidential campaign. Now, just a reminder, this man was already president of the United States once. I want you to keep that in mind.
Silence of the Lambs. Has anyone ever seen the Silence of the Lambs? The late, great Hannibal Lecter. He's a wonderful man. He oftentimes would have a friend for dinner. Remember the last scene? Excuse me, I'm about to have a friend for dinner as this poor doctor walked by. I'm about to have a friend for dinner, but Hannibal Lecter. Congratulations, the late, great Hannibal Lecter.
What the fuck? The late great. But like.
So that means he thinks Hannibal Lecter is real.
The late great. It's just like again. Look, you can't. Here's the reality: AI can't produce Trump drama. He's a 4 out of 4 writing wise. We got to face it.
Okay.
It's just what he is.
All right.
He's just what he is. I don't like it. I wish it weren't so.
Yeah.
But you know, if wishes were horses, you'd have a lot of them. I guess. I don't have. Tressie, thank you so much.
Thank
Tressie will
you,
be back for
Jon.
some of the rants, but this is
I'm gonna do this.
give it. Thank you so much. That was so great.